Phones convert better than email, and companies that are not currently calling their customers are leaving a ton of money on the table. Companies that are calling their customers but are not using analytics to measure the effectiveness of those calls are also leaving a ton of money on the table. Volta is an A/B testing framework for live outbound phone calls. I want to get started by showing you some of the data that Volta provides, and then we're going to kind of go in reverse and see how we set the whole system up. So here we are in the event stats section. An event is simply any phone call that can be triggered from within our existing software. This particular event is inserted into the sign-up flow of a service that helps authors get their articles published and syndicated. Every time an author signs up to this service, 3 things happen. 1, a phone call is triggered and appears in the Volta call queue. 2, a live agent logs in, plugs in their USB headset, calls the author, welcomes them, and invites them to join the premium author program for $50. And 3, each script and each agent is tested so that we know what's working and what's not working. Before we started using Volta on this particular event, we were converting at about 1% on email alone. As soon as we started calling, we immediately jumped to 1.5%. And over the course of 1 month, we were able to hit 4.4%. This is huge. This is a 300% increase in 1 month with 1 call trigger, 1 product. Volta allows us to humanize the connection with our customers, and we were able to go from about $50 a day to over $200 a day on this 1 product, one phone call, or 1 event. So once again, Volta is an A/B testing framework for live outbound phone calls, and we do that by testing call scripts, and we're testing agents. As you can see here, Script A is killing it. It's doing 4.4%. It's awesome. Script B, not so much. We can kill Script B.
Call me.
we can kill Script B and just continue calling on Script A. That's awesome. But what if there's a script that we haven't written yet that converts at 5% or at 6% or 10%? We can add that script and continue to try and beat that 4.4%. Also, we can dig into each individual agent, and we can see here that Robert and Susan aren't very good. In fact, they're horrible, but that's okay because Volta records every single phone call for training purposes. We can give Robert and Susan some homework. They can go listen to the recorded archive of phone calls made by Tony and Mark. They will get better. And if they don't, you have my permission to fire them. So over time, our outbound calling is going to become more efficient, more effective, and more profitable. So now that we've seen some of the stats that Volta provides, I'm going to quickly take you through how we set the whole system up, and it works in 4 easy ways. 1, we create an event, and once again, an event is any phone call that we can insert as a trigger into our existing software. So we'll add a name, we'll choose an event type, we'll choose what department to route it to, and we'll enter a script. Once again, if we add 2 scripts here, they'll automatically be rotated and split tested. 2, we have an API. We insert a little bit of code into our existing software so that we can trigger the phone calls. We can set delays, any sort of custom behavior. Once those calls do start getting triggered, they appear in the Volta call queue. Our agents log into the call queue. They plug in their USB headset. When they're ready, they click call. When they're done, they mark down some conversion statistics. They can reschedule the call, finish the call, so on and so forth. Then we go back to the stats section. We find out what's working, what's not working, and we tweak our scripts and we train our agents, and we just get better and better and better and make more money. So that's it. It's really that easy. Everything happens within the browser. Call quality is fantastic. And I showed you 1 use case, but the possibilities are endless. Maybe we just want to call our customers and thank them for being so loyal after a year and give them a discount. Maybe we want to conduct a survey. Maybe, when somebody signs up for a free trial and doesn't upgrade to a paid account, we want to call them, find out why, and try to convert them. This is called trial recovery, and it's a stock event that we have, and it's really powerful. So all we do is allow companies to have an effective outbound phone strategy. We tell them what's working and what isn't working. So before I finish here, I just want to leave you with one thought. Having an outbound phone strategy for your business is just as important as having an inbound phone strategy. Volta allows companies to humanize the connection, look at real-time analytics, and make this process awesome. Thank you.
Okay, Dave McClure, you invested on the spot. You gave him your
Best
card.
fucking presentation I've heard all week. Clear value proposition, great delivery. As long as you can do what you say you do, I'll write you a fucking check.
Oh, there you go. There's our first fucking check on stage. George, you're fucking nodding.
I had the same reaction as Dave, but
The
not
same fucking reaction?
Same fucking reaction, but didn't have the same audacity to go up there, which I compliment Dave on. I love what you're doing. The question is, how important is it to integrate into call management systems and telemarketing systems in terms of the success of the company? That's the first one. The second one is, how do you deal with VoIP issues around do not call, which I'm unfamiliar with?
Okay. So for your first question, it's a trigger-based system. We're not dumping a bunch of phone calls into the system. It's as events, or if someone signs up, someone purchases product A, trigger a phone call, and so on and so forth. As far as the do not call, I don't have an answer for that at this point. But that's definitely something that I'm thinking about and need to consider.
I want to try this at Yammer. This seems really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you have millions of customers
Yeah.
signing up, and you have
Yeah.
hundreds signing up every day.
Right.
What if this thing triggered a phone call with an agent just to say, did it work?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'd be interested in a system like this.
Do you have a system like this? Do you have a
No,
procedure?
we've been talking about installing some sort of robo dialer where it just starts, dialing leads essentially. 'Cause
Right.
like you said, we got 100,000 plus companies in our pipeline, and we could be talking to them. So. The thing I'm not sure about is what the sort of alternatives are out there. What does the competition do? How important is it that it be integrated with our phone system?
Yours is software as a service, all
It
in
is
the
software
browser.
as a service. So there's a lot at the top end, the enterprise level, in the call center space. It's a huge market. So really, what I think Volta is awesome in that we can get really granular. Like with Yammer, we can say when these customers geographically or these customers that are paying us this amount trigger this kind of phone call and route it to this agent and so on and so forth. So you're really able to get into your specific customer base and trigger phone calls that are very specific with their own scripts and their own agents and departments answering those calls.
So how do you log the data? Does the rep have to click and say what the result of the call
Yes.
was? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think you have to solve that problem because we don't want to make our reps file a report after every
Right.
call. We can't really trust that they're not going to forget
Right.
to do something. You really want that completely automated.
Okay. And there's not a lot of information. It's just a quick couple clicks and it takes a couple seconds. But I mean, I'm not doing I'm not taking the conversation and transcribing it and trying to find out if it was converted into a sale or not. So.
Could I just quickly, I didn't ask before, are you guys using Twilio for any of the automation here? or
Twilio,
not?
Tropo, and If by Phone. So
All three?
yeah, I've created kind of a layer in front of that just
So I'll
to
write you an even bigger check if you just use Twilio.
just use why.
So
Yeah.
I think this is a really important product. My experience with companies that go through hypergrowth go through it for one of two reasons. They either do it to the consumer through social, or they do it by just getting a cash positive telemarketing telesales group and hammering hard. I mean, everybody that's done it in the last few years, it's how they've done it. So we're going through that process right now at Trada, and this is all I do all day long is talk about call scripts, hiring in terms of how quickly they're trained up. That's the sensitivity in the models. It's all related to that. So I think this is a really, really valuable product. Okay. But some of the questions that come up are incredibly important. Where do you pull call stats from? People are doing 100, 120 dials a day. They can't fill out 3 things in a form, which is why nobody uses Salesforce to do it. How do you do lead routing and lead routing from Salesforce? The actual front end and the back end of the pipeline process is really critical to get right, or the A/B testing doesn't become as valuable because you have garbage in and you have reporting on the back end out. So every minute that someone has to interact with this system is a minute sort of a detractor from the product. These are, I think, things you'll kind of learn by just field testing a lot. And again, we're a high volume system, not necessarily someone sitting in support looking at Zendesk tickets coming in and then calling them back, and a new person having the same script as someone all that. Right. So maybe the question I have is, how much are you focused on that sort of you've got to get from 2.5 to 2.8% conversion rate in your telemarketing group, and that's what matters, versus I have 5 support reps and I want them to have a very consistent customer interaction and experience from the second day they're hired.
Yeah.
Which of those two things do you focus on?
Well, obviously, I'm very focused on the data because I think we want to make as much money as we can, or we want to please our customers, or we want to form that human connection. So I'm really focusing more on the data that we can provide right now.
And is there any integration with Salesforce? Sorry.
No, not right now, but there's all sorts of e-commerce systems, Shopify and Salesforce, Highrise, and CRM systems that can be integrated in the future.
It's important because almost everybody I know uses that as
Right.
the entry point for leads, which get routed to the reps.
Right.
Unless you're coming through Zendesk. So those are kind of the two biggies that I know about.
Sorry, I don't think we asked this, or maybe I missed it. What's the pricing model? Channeling Manu Kumar.
I'm having a hard
Pricing
time.
model.
Pricing
model. So there's a very low per minute charge, and then there's a per agent license.
How much is it?
What's that?
How much is it?
So per agent, I'm doing a beta today, and I'm still talking to people about prices, but it's going to be in the $25 an agent range. And the minutes are going to be very, very low, like Twilio or any of these services. So,
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely come find me.
awesome. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Volta.
Thank you.